Good Thursday evening to everyone. How are you? It is good to see you. It is good to be seen by you. Welcome to the show. I am the Dungeon Delver coming to you live, loud, and clear from an undisclosed location somewhere in the swamps of sunny Florida. How are you? I hope you're having an absolutely cromulent evening. I'm having a good one. I'm having a good one. Guys, we are very, very close to the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention 4. That's right, the fourth installment of this disorganized mess of online gaming that I have the chutzpah to call a convention, and I'm glad you're all going to be joining me for it in less than a week. Just think, this time next week, you guys are going to be knee deep in running and playing in TTRPGs in an online environment. You don't have to leave the house. You can put your feet up. You can game in your underwear for all I want to care. But anyway, I'm excited about it. And I hope you are too. And if you don't know what we're talking about, if you're just stopping by for the first time, maybe you haven't decided to hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that now, because then you can find out all of the hot information between now and when the con kicks off next Wednesday. But briefly, it costs you nothing. You don't have to travel to it. You don't have to book a hotel. You don't have to pay for badges. All you have to pay for is merch if you want it. And big, fat donations to me and super chats and buy me a coffee and just straight deposits into my PayPal. But that's up to you if you want to do that. But anyway, so I hope you will consider joining us. It is from the 21st through the 25th. That's right. I'm ruining your Memorial Day weekend with a convention. So I hope you will want to do that. And I hope you will want to hang out with us. We have a lot of fun, and we're going to talk a lot about that for the first half tonight. We're going to talk about, we're going to continue our deep dive into the Temple of Elemental Evil. So I did mention just now that there is merch. And I want to take a closer look at the merch table, and you guys can with me too. I'm going to share this up, and you guys can get a gander. You guys can get a gander at some of the merch, new and old, and I'm excited for it. But we have the merch. You can get 2024 merch, 2025 merch, 2023. It doesn't matter to me what you get. So without further ado, let's see. Winder, share. Dr. Urius Papers 2020 asks, does the blue crab mean that I am from Maryland? No, it does not. I have a favorite module of mine is White Plume Mountain, and one of the more iconic battles in White Plume Mountain is the battle against the giant crab in the boiling bubble. If you know, you know. And I wanted a giant crab mini for my players to fight. I don't want to pay like $25 for a metal mini, and I didn't have a 3D printer at the time. So I went on Amazon and I bought this bad boy for like $5 delivered. And I love him. And he is part of the cast and crew. I love my little plastic crab. But anyway, so there we go. Here is some of the cool merch that you can get for GUOGC 2025. This is the Going Viral logo. I gotta talk to Dungeon Minister and see if we can get some of that awesome Sky Hernstrom handiwork up there. But right now you can get the 2025 Going Viral. I'm pointing at the screen like you guys can see my finger moving back and forth. Yeah, so there's the mug, GUOGC 2025 Going Viral with the cannibalistic computer. pickleball paddle set, a t-shirt, a water bottle, and previous year's guacs. You want the 2023, the guacatrice with the D20 over the shoulder boulder holder? You can still get it. All of this stuff is still available. And yes, there's a merch link. Oh, Impatient One. Right there, Dungeon Minister. We split the profits on this, guys. Some of it goes to Dungeon Minister, some of it goes to me evenly. So it's 50-50. So if you guys want to get some merch, and don't just support me, but support the Dungeon Minister, there you go. We have cool merch from all the years. So I'm hype about it. And you guys should be too. I may go back and pick some stuff up. I have this pint glass, but I may go back and pick up some other stuff. He's got some merch of his own for his own store down there. I'm definitely going to be getting probably a guac pint glass, maybe a guac bucket hat. I don't know. So anyway, that is the merch link. Somebody had asked up above, hey, Mobius, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. Will you be playing this year? Somebody asked earlier about the link to it. We're going to get to the con itself later. So we'll see. We'll have to we'll have to come back in a minute to your request for a link. But anyway, there's the merch. Now, maybe you are wondering, Damien, if you're touching your mod load order, if you've got everything the way you like it and want it, and you're deciding to screw with it just because, you get what you deserve. As someone who has literally seen things that I had deleted for years just pop back into existence when I decided to install updated mods and not figure out how to get rid of them on Fallout 4, you get what you deserve. But anyway, so as I was saying, merch, sign up for the con, all kinds of fun stuff. And the question now comes, that is my answer to the question now comes, of how do we get there? How do we join in the fun, in the madness? It's not difficult. It's not difficult. In fact, we're going to go right over how to do that right now. So we have a Discord for this. It's a Discord. And it's right there on the screen. You can go right to it. And we're about to share that Discord with you guys. I'm going to hide that for right now. Is that the... No, that's the wrong one. So, here you find yourself at the Discord. If you follow that invite, congratulations, you're registered for the convention. You ain't never had a convention registration that easy in your entire life, unless you just go to hotels and crash conventions. You just wander in. So it's that simple. Now, You might be wondering, how do I sign up for a game? How do I do it? How do I sign up for a game? Click on the event calendar, find a game you want to play, and click the text box. That's it. You're done. Congratulations. You're signed up. You're signed up to view a panel, signed up to play a game. Does not matter. You're signed up. It's just that easy. Now, you might be asking, how do I go about creating an event? How do I go about becoming a game master? That is a 2-factor thing you got to do. First, reach out to me and let me know you want to be a game master. I will set you as a game master, and I will let you know. Then go into general, do /create, and you will be shown a box for create. Click it, type in the title, type in the time, and you're done. You're done. That's it. It's finished. That is literally all you have to do. Now, time-wise, I would very much appreciate it if you guys would respect the 4-hour block. We're starting at noon Wednesday, next Wednesday. So our blocks are noon to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to midnight, midnight to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to noon, and so on. So please, at the very least, if not for ending time, then for starting time. I get it. People's schedule varies. By the way, I am talking about Eastern Standard on that. I get it. I get it. Maybe you're where, you're where it'll be 1 o'clock where the game starts. Just observe the Eastern time standard. And it's that easy. You're done. You're signed up. Now, the question does come up. This actually came up today. Someone was asking me, hey, how do I edit my event? Well, I'm fixing to show you. I'm fixing to show you. You click on the calendar, and I'm going to move this over here so I can see a little better. But you click on the calendar and you click on an event. This happens to be my event, the Dungeon board game. Click on it and it brings up more details. Click the 3 dots. If you need to change something, click the 3 dots and select Edit Event. Where's your event? Make sure it's set to voice channel. And that's it. That's it. You can set it to somewhere else. But if you want to change your event info, you can come over here. Oops. You can change the name. You can upload a cover image here if you want. And that's it. That's it, guys. It's that simple. And it's done and dusted. That's all you have to do. So if you have any questions about that, if you have any questions about editing your event, uploading a picture, setting your event up, whatever, doesn't matter. You're good to go. Now, where are your events? When will your events start? Look right over here. Event rooms. Oop, didn't mean to enter. I'll come over here and I'll do dungeon board game. And now you guys know where to find me. You can click in there and you've joined the room. And when your game's coming up, I'll put it in there. I'll just come back periodically and I'll clean it up. When you guys have cleared out of a room and your game is over, I will change the room title for you. It's that simple. I'm doing most of it. Yes, here is the, where is it? Is that, no, that's Dungeon Minister. That's it. That's where you guys go to sign up for the con. Something again that I want to reiterate. I talked about this last night, but I'm going to mention it here again now. Please remember the game masters for the GUOGC are doing this with no recompense from me. I can't even give them free merch. Oh, I'm something, David. I'm something. But hey, Gonzalo, buying more advertising. Thank the hell out of you, Gonzalo. I appreciate that. All of our game masters are again, they're doing this out of the love of TTRPGs and their desire to have a good time. Respect that, please. If you're going to dip out of a game, then let them know that you're gone. Don't just get up and leave the channel. I can't even send them a $5 Sizzler gift card. No Sizzler gift card, no Quincy's big fat yeast roll baskets for free. No Tuffy services, waterproofing. I'm sorry, I just can't. So I do appreciate it. And get your games in there. Oh, look, we have more games in there. Or are you just hyping your game up? Okay, Gonzalo's just hyping his game up. That's fine. That's absolutely okay. But so far, we have 18 events at the convention, and more are coming. We have Richard Witter's. I gotta put Richard Witter's panel in. I gotta put Matt's panel in. I gotta put the panels for Eric and Heidi in. It's gonna be panelrific. Oh, and for Sky Hernstrom, lest I forget Sky. And I better not. The man has a battle axe. So there's lots of events, guys. There's going to be lots of events. There's going to be panels. There's going to be there's going to be games to play, both board games and TTRPGs of all variety, both basic and advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Isha, hey, good to see you. So hang out with us, guys. Game with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think you'll have a lot of fun. I know I'm hyped for it. One thing I can tell you, though, one thing I will tell you, after the convention, that's a week from this Sunday, I will be doing two things. Firstly, we will be having a post-convention drawing. We are having 5 miniatures painted, and there will be a drawing for those. They will be given out to lucky recipients. But one thing I will tell you, after that, I'm going on vacation. No live streams. No newsy videos unless news happens. So I hope everyone will want to come to the con and have fun. I'm looking forward to it, guys, and I hope you guys are too. And tomorrow night, before we play Gamma World, because we are playing Gamma World tomorrow night, it'll still be cool if you just show up with bags of cash. That's all I ask. Just show up with bags of cash. And to be certain, my vacation is I simply won't log in and chat with you guys. I'm not going anywhere. Just big sacks of it. You know what? I don't care. A million pennies is $100,000. Is it $100,000 or $10,000? I think it's $10,000. So, you know, I think. So, yeah. Anyway, but I'm glad you guys are going to be there, and I appreciate you guys that are out there spreading the hype, spreading the good word, because we have got so many good games that are going to be that are going to be played, that are going to be held. Well-deserved respite. Exactly, Jorge. It all spends, right? So, with that said, let's move on. And let's talk a little bit about the Temple of Elemental Evil, because I think it's time. I've got, where is it? I'll leave that up. Are you kidding? Those are valuable antiques. Rob Turner. Temple of Elemental Evil? Absolutely not. It is not one of the weaker adventures. I don't think it's as good as it could have been. I think we could have gotten better. And maybe one of you might have had a good question about that to ask Paul Stormberg, but you didn't. You did not. So we don't have a From the Sorcerer's Scroll from Paul Stormberg tonight. Goodbye, Rob Turner. Rob Rabovsky Turner. So let's continue. Let's see. Stuck for. I went. Wheeling Dragon, just ping me later, and I'll show you how to edit. All right. So, one thing though that I am not going to do with this deep dive, I am not going to sit here and read every entry and everything. This is a deep dive, not a down to the bottom of the Marianas Trench and dig a hole. Hey, Runeward Gaming, good to see you. Can I edit my one game I didn't schedule right? Yes, you should be able to go in there. Just click on it, click the three dots, and then click edit. Go into the schedule, click on your event. You've got three little dots next to the two radio buttons. Click that and select edit. All right. So, we talked about the cathedral last week, the Cathedral of Evil. The altars, the staircases, the doors. Oh, the doors. Now we come to kind of an interesting area. Where we get a little bit of informative art because the dais and throne are arrayed thus, with those stones decorated in those colors. And of course, this is a black and white module, so, you know. So, yeah, green, red, white, brown, green, red, brown, white, red, green, brown, white, red, white, brown, green. Different colored stones arrayed around the dais. Now, this throne is important because it has chiseled into the curving wall behind it, the power of elemental death brings mortals low, but raises the nameless one high. The flags upon which the throne sets are 10-foot squares of granite in a mosaic pattern. And there's what you can show the players. Excuse me. So we get into some serious Gygaxian stuff here with the throne. It can't be destroyed by anything other than disintegrate or wish. Other spells, including those which affect rock or stone, have no effect. So no transmute rock to mud. Can't do crystal brittle and shatter. Wish or disintegrate. You got to be throwing around the heavy artillery. I like that aspect, Ishahay, that it's scrawled like it's a Stephen King novel. Now, it points out the throne can be ordered to sink to the Greater Temple, Dungeon Level 3, Area 352. Only a limited wish or greater spell can detect this movement capability. The possessor of the Orb of Elemental Death, which you can find on Dungeon Level 3, Area 322, knows how to operate the throne merely by gazing upon it, magically becoming aware of the command words to make it lower and rise, and can control the throne by sitting on it while holding the orb. The throne can otherwise be activated by a wish or by the following procedures. The user must step on the 4 color slabs directly before the throne in proper order: brown, green, or brown, white, green, red, and then speak the name of Zugman Toy. The throne thereafter sinks to Area 340 when anybody sits upon it. Is difficult. It is difficult. This is a player time waster. You're not going to move it. You are not going to move it. Unless your players are metagaming, they won't know the name Zugman Toy. Their characters won't anyway, if it's the first time they've ever been there. I mean, okay, we could maybe figure out the pattern, but without sitting and saying Zugman Toy, it's not going to budge. So you could get the pattern right. You could get it right on the first try. Without knowing a name that you can't possibly know, is not going to do anything. Very Gygaxian gambit, This will eat a lot of time. Tarot Destroyer. With the dirty jokes. You put an ounce of sugar in your left bra cup. It hurt at first, but I got used to it. That's just it, Ishahay. I mean, I suppose if your character was powerful enough to cast commune spells, you might be able to figure it out. You could maybe spend but even though knowing to say her name after stepping on the, I mean, that is text adventure moon logic, Gary. I'll say this much. You didn't have to be Gary's friend and go to the same university, or, well, live in Lake Geneva and attend the same things that Gary did, specifically to know that. There are ways to figure it out. So it's not quite as bad as text adventure game moon logic. So that's the throne. But now we get into the dungeons of elemental evil. Now, here's something I want to point out that's important. And that is the height of the corridors. The 10-foot wide corridors have Gothic arches peaking at about 17 feet height. The 20-foot and 30-foot are about 30 feet tall, unless otherwise described. The doors are evoked, blah, 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 blah. The 10-foot wide corridors peak at 17 feet. If a party is desperate enough to light off a fireball in a group of those corridors, you, the DM, have got some math to do. Because the 33,000 cubic feet that a fireball fills in a 10-foot high dungeon, that's pretty easy. That's 33 10 by 10 by 10 cubes of dungeon crawliness. And then you can then count them outwards from the detonation point. But what about peaked 17-foot roofs? How many then? I mean, if it was 20, even if it was an odd number, you could sort the math out for it. But peaked 17-foot ceilings. I said roofs, ceilings. How are you going to figure that? I would just eyeball it myself. I would just treat it as just like 17 standard feet and not worry about the precise volume. Because if your party is in dire enough straits that they're detonating a fireball in a narrow corridor where they know they could get roasted too, things have gone sideways enough that you can just eyeball it. Whatever you do, don't forget to carry the one. Exactly right. Exactly right, David. Now here's something interesting that I've seen a lot of people bitch about in dungeon design, particularly Gary's: ventilation. Drafts and less notable air currents exist aplenty in the temple dungeons. The builders worked many small vents and air shafts into the place to assure proper ventilation. Rooms are thus usually warmed by braziers. Torch smoke does not linger near ceilings, let alone at lower levels or in dungeon or corridor or chamber. Strange odors and odd noises are borne on gusts of air. The hollow, echoing underground ways are rife with musty, damp, fetid, feral, and more noisome scents. Yeah, leave Sir Standard at home for this one, for sure. And there's some notes on how to use the various monster books and rule books. And here's an interesting note. As much as I am not the biggest fan of Temple, it does have some generally useful information for DMing, like the ventilation. I think, when party is like, we didn't see any chimneys, so therefore, if we do this, we should suffocate them all. Come on. Kobolds are listed, for example, as being really clever miners. You don't think they've got, they don't have a big industrial smokestack. They've got maybe a dozen small holes that you'll never find in the hillside for ventilation. But here is some good information you can take forward. It mentions prisoners. When human and demi-human prisoners are found and rescued, the XP value given for each should be applied to the party's total as if they were defeated monsters. Conversely, if the prisoners are slain, the characters lose triple the XP values given. Deduct the amounts from the other awards earned. If such prisoners are simply turned loose in the dungeon, no XP is earned, but no deductions apply. Yes, when your players ask if they can see the hinges when they approach a door. To which I always say, these are special dungeon hinges. They're inside the door. Sorry, I am tired, guys. And I love this. I love this note here. And for the exceptionally industrious, even normal armor and weapons abound to such a degree that, assuming half book value is the resale price, nearly 10,000 gold pieces of worth of such items can be taken from the temple's inhabitants. If you want to haul all that stuff out, here's what it's worth. There's a note here about recruiting. If your party is the hit and run type, they will replace their losses. Large humanoids can replace one each 3 days. Monsters can replace their numbers at a rate of 1 per week. If the temple forces are not heavily pressed by the party, they actually grow at the rates given above. Note, however, that once the leaders of a group are eliminated, neither they nor their forces can be repaired. Now let's talk a little bit about Zugman Toy. The demoness is imprisoned in a room on dungeon level 3 and cannot free herself. 4 huge bronze gates exist within the dungeon complex. The first found at the grand entrance, the others described in areas 145, 210, and 340. And I should point out, this is mentioned elsewhere. While there are a great many rooms in the temple, the first number refers to the level. So 145 is room 45 on the first level, 210, room 10 on the second, and so on. If the lowest pair of valves is destroyed, Zugman Toy is free to roam. If the gates at 210 are open as well, she's free to roam the second and third dungeon levels. If the gates of area 145 are further sundered, she can also roam the dungeon levels 1 and 4. If all the gates are destroyed, she is completely freed. And then we get into what the 4th level is, and it mentions you got to be a tough party to explore there. There are the elemental nodes, which are a little different from what Gary had originally envisioned. I do not like the elemental nodes. I think the 4th level is plenty challenging on its own. I don't like the elemental nodes. Elemental in Temple of Elemental Evil did not originally have anything to do with earth, air, fire, and water. That's not what the elements part meant. Element meant primal. It meant foundational. So the temple of primal evil, the temple of foundational evil is what it meant. Why Frank Menser decided to completely change it around to, oh, it's elemental evil. That means evil fire and evil dirt and evil air and evil water. No, Frank, that's not what it meant. And then it talks about sprinkling ample clues around. And then there's this like Tolkien length poem that you can drop like in a dream on the players or something like that. Don't make it too easy on them though, guys. Find out who's paying attention at your table. Read this poem. Vincent Joyce, the best module and campaign ever, ran my kids through it. Then you're doing it right, sir. You're doing it right. Yes, but Jorge, there never was a cloudy day. Say that you remember. Yes, David, exactly. So yeah, there's a big long poem here. Not going to read that. And we get into the dungeon, into dungeon level 1. Now, interestingly, I have seen in so many different modules, so many different methods of determining wandering monsters. I'm actually kind of struggling to remember one that uses D6 and then says, go to the Dungeon Master's Guide and find it. They have their own wander, which is fine. That's not a complaint. But here it's done on percentile tables. I'm not sure, Damien. See, that's a good question for Paul. So you roll percentile dice, and basically on a 1 through 10, you have an encounter, and whatever your result is, here on the first level, it's brigands, gnolls, ghouls, a gelatinous cube, an ogre with indigestion looking for trouble, no treasure, 6 men at arms led by a level 3 fighter, and then there's stat blocks for them all. It's nice to have. I don't think it's needed. And then we get to the armory. Again, I'm not going through every encounter area, but it's another, there's nothing of value here. Have a lovely trapped room with some harpies. We have some lovely ghouls. So ghouls. Odds are other, like, harpies can be a TPK if you're not careful for a mid-level party. Remember, the party that's coming in here to the temple area, odds are maybe third level. So the harpies can be really tough. You get your first treasure in that 4 ghoul layer area there. A whopping 108 copper, 92 silver. So that's like what, 5 silver, 20 silver to a gold. So 42 gold, 35 gold, 42 and 35 is what, that's 77 gold pieces total for your toil to this point. Take care, Michael Dale. All right, but let's continue on. So there's garbage. Of course, you got to have giant rats. Now we start to get into some real loot. You know, we have ghasts guarding a large gold cup worth 450 GP, and it's got 112 GP and 3 onyx gems in it. And the 3 onyx are worth 50 gold. No, that is not base 50 gold. So you're not going to have a million GP onyx sitting in there. That ain't going to happen. So lots of gas, lots of undead. However, you do get to some prisoners here. 11 human prisoners. All are naked and the males are chained to the wall. All are from the Null area. And again, this is, you can get XP by freeing these people. We've got a total of, let's see, that's 6. So 10, you know, there's 10 people you can free there. They have nothing of value and know nothing of the temple, and they were kidnapped by raiding ghouls. Except for the sailor who was brought here by Dick Wrench and his men as punishment for making a pass at Dala, the merchant's wife, and servants can offer no at making pass at Dala. The merchant's wife and servants can offer no ransom, and if free, they can only ask to be shown. They can ask only to be shown how to get out and away quickly. The sailor and men at arms will most certainly serve loyalty if supplied with clothing, armor, and arms. If treated fairly and paid normally, they remain 100% loyal while in the employ of their liberators. A very nice way to get some men at arms. So ghouls, ghasts, various bits of treasure. Some of it here with some lovely Greyhawk lore, like a chest with 611 silver, a brooch with a carnelian stone, and a cameo of a coat of arms, Valuna, quartered by the Knight of the Heart, worth 800 gold, and a scroll of protection from undead. Very handy. Right about now, it's very handy. And we come into a lot of loot here against these gas. A gold chain worth 7,000, set with 3 small rubies worth 1,000 each. A ruby ring worth 4,000, and a shield +1. So, yeah. And then we come to the Banquet Hall. Bones and whole skeletons can be seen on the floor and under the heaped broken furniture. A skirmish in the greater battle for the temple was surely fought in this place. And so you can find some odds and ends. There's the kitchen, Nolish sentries. You get the idea. Now, one thing you do find, excuse me, guys, I'm tired. One thing you do find here that I thought was pretty interesting is the corridor of bones. I always loved this. For at least 100 feet of its length, this 20-foot wide corridor is covered with bones. Skeletons of humans and humanoids are mixed in a terrible jumble. Many skulls and loose bones seem gnawed. The complete skeletons, still wear sundered armor, dented caps, or sprawl by broken shields. Bent and broken weapons likewise testify to a great melee having taken place here. 100, 2, perhaps more, all met death here. Further progress along the corridor requires careful picking along a path between these grim remains of the temple hordes. Nothing of value is discernible. And DMs, if you've ever just had just a cool room, this is like an ossuary, or you're just livening it up with there's skeletons scattered everywhere here, and your cleric freaks out and starts talking about employing turn undead. This is why. This is the original room full of bones. What do evil people cook for dinner, Dice Tales? I shudder to ask. It's right here. Because 10 human skeletons and 6 gnoll skeletons. And there's their stats. So it continues on. It continues on. Secret chambers, anterooms. Let's check out the map before I fall asleep. So here we are. This is the aforementioned corridor full of bones here. We can zoom in on that a little bit better, I think. The big corridor full of bones. And by the way, I want to point something out. We've got all these aforementioned areas, and we'll get to dungeon, what this is up here. Note this right here. That is the shaft that the throne moves up and down through. I thought it was a nice touch. So let's head back. Let's look at what's in big old room 145 with the letters. That's where we are. 145. Now we're going to hop around a little bit, but I just saw it and I wanted to I wanted to mention up. By the way, I have always loved this illustration. This is once again Larry Elmore. The evil runes. You guys can read what that says, right? But on room 145, we have the Earth Temple. And I am going to read you guys the box text here, because this is pretty much, and again, we're not just going to end the Earth or the first level description right here. We're going to hop around a little bit, but I wanted to get to this one at least tonight before I fade. The Earth Temple. This great open area is obviously one in which the principle of the elemental evil of Earth is served. The walls are rough-hewn sandstone, but the entire floor is dark brown earth. Some sort of phosphorescent lichen provides a dim illumination throughout the vast area. It grows on walls and ceilings, supports, and arches. Cressets and wall sconces indicate that used during ceremonies, other light sources are used. During ceremonies, other light sources are used. I can English goodly. In the center of the room, occupying a 20-foot square area, is a pyramid of hard packed dirt. The sides rise about 6 feet and the top is flat, forming an area about 6 feet square. Stone steps are set in the four faces of the pyramid. Atop it is a stone column, each of its four faces bearing a carved triangle and sporting a pair of bronze manacles dangling from bolted rings. At the base of the south face of the column rests a bronze box. 3 doors are in the south wall. Those to the left and right are normal, but the center pair are huge bronze valves, remember? These bear a strange set of silvery glowing runes, obviously chiseled into their face by someone other than their maker. They are sealed shut with soft iron filling all the cracks. So it mentions, this is the fight that I absolutely love. 4 earth elementals are here, hidden under the dirt floor at 4 points indicated by the letters A, B, C, D. And you saw that on the map there. An elemental attacks any victim within 10 feet of it and ceases attacking immediately when and if this situation ends. So we have 4th or 5th level party going up against 4 16 hit die, 87, 74, 71, and 69. Nice hit point monsters you got to deal with. They need a +2 weapon to hit. And if you can defeat them all, you get 4,155, 3960, 3915, and 3855 XP. This room, I think, is the payoff that gets your characters out of the minor leagues. 12,000 experience points. In an average 3rd level party coming in, that just might be enough to boost them. Maybe, possibly. Depends on how big the party is. Holy Word or Wish dispels all of the... Well, there you go, guys. You just got to have a cleric or a magic user that can cast Holy Word or Wish, respectively, to get rid of the elementals. And then we get this cool little bit here. I like it. It's nice and creepy. If an intruder enters this room further than 20 feet from any entrance, all 4 elementals rise up out of the earth and stand motionless. If the intruder tries to leave, the elementals start patrolling as follows. 4 Roman numerals surround each letter. Each elemental moves first from 1, then 2, 3, 4, taking 1 round for each leg of the trip. The elementals continue this patrol as long as any living thing remains in the area. If all intruders manage to depart, the elementals return to their original positions and burrow back down, leaving no trace of their patrol or presence. If all intruders move directly to the central pyramid instead of attempting escape, the elementals do not patrol. Instead, they all move to their number 4 positions near the pyramid and do not move again for 1 turn unless approached, activating their attack reflex. The elementals do not climb the pyramid in any case. After 1 turn of immobility, any elemental that has not had 1 ewer full of blood poured upon it actively pursues intruders, reaching up towards those upon the pyramid if applicable. Intruders thereon must be careful of straying too close to the edge. Exception: anyone wearing the robe of Romag, the brown vestment with the 4 triangles set with gems, can move freely among the elementals without suffering attack. The wearer can furthermore command their movements by verbal instructions in the common tongue, although they cannot leave this temple. And there are great treasures here. So you dig down. It takes a long time to do. The first area, 800 gold pieces in a flask, a potion of diminution. Second area, 200 platinum and a suit of ring mail. Third, 28 brown spinels worth 100 gold apiece and a morning star +1. A ring of protection +1, a rope of climbing, a leather case containing a wand of paralyzation with 38 charges, and a brass box containing 3 jars of Chaotum's ointment. This is pretty much the big boss fight on level 1. But we are going to look at a few other chambers because we left off around room 125. But we are going to deep dive into those on Monday. We're going to deep dive a little bit more into those on Monday and take a look at the other things that await us here on the first level of the Temple of Elemental Evil. Because we have some questions that have built up and I want to answer those. What do evil people cook for? I thought that was a riddle. I thought you were going to hit us with a punchline there, Dice Tales. I would guess that the human denizens are probably not cannibals. So I would guess, given what's going on in Nulb, they are probably sending agents to buy supplies, maybe even as far as Hamlet, or set up raids to hit trade caravans. I think an earth to mud spell acts as slow on an elemental. That's a good question. On an earth elemental, let's see. Let's have a crack at the monster manual and see what it says. And would it work here? So let's see. These powerful creatures travel rather slowly in order to cross water. They must travel through the ground and go under the bed of a body of water. They score full damage against any creature which rests on the earth. Against constructions built on its own or stay, they act as a super battering ram, 2 to 8 points of structural damage, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't say. Maybe Transmute Rock to Mud has something about that in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Let's take a look. All right, let's see. Well, the only note on spells in the Dungeon Master's Guide, Transmute Rock to Mud, it doesn't really get into it. That's a good question. Can Transmute Rock to Mud? I would say treat it as a slow spell with the same duration of a slow attack. Otherwise, nothing. A Twinkie sprinkled with MSG. I think what Thomas is asking about a workshop is like, like you go to a writer's workshop or you go to, any other kind of sit down and work with people. It could be a woodworking workshop, just like, hey, I'm going to teach you guys how to do woodworking, or, I'm going to teach you guys how to ski, or I'm going to teach you how to write. I'm going to teach you how to be a better dog owner. Oh, excuse me again, guys. I am just beat. So, if you guys have any further questions, then feel free to ask them in the next couple of minutes. Remember, the GUOGC is here. I'm going to share that URL. You know what? That's the merch URL. I'm going to go ahead and put that up there. But I'm going to get that is my, it's not the thing. All right. So go there, hang out. By dint of me inviting you to the Discord, you're invited to the convention. That is your pass. That is your ticket into the convention. So don't hesitate, guys. Join us, play games, have a good time. And we will be more than happy to have you. So with that said, guys, I think before I embarrass myself by falling asleep in front of you, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for the evening. Thank you all very much for being here. We're going to continue Monday night. I'm going to talk a lot more about the GUOGC. I'll talk about it a little bit before we start. Before we start Gamma World tomorrow night, because we're playing Gamma World tomorrow night. Saturday, 3 to probably 4:30 or so, I am going to be with Dungeon Minister and Yang Yan Zhao. We are going to continue our efforts to take over the world through the channels of pop culture sensibility in the Nerd Council of Doom. Find us at the Nerd Council of Doom here on YouTube, and you can follow us at the Nerd Council of Doom over on Twitter. And we're going to talk all about pop culture news, media, fun stuff coming up, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Big ups to Gonzalo Lira, who threw a super tonight. Thank you very much, Gonzalo. Literally helping keep the lights on around here, and I do appreciate it. So again, everybody, thanks for hanging out tonight. Join me tomorrow if you like Gamma World, if you like post-apocalypse radiation type stuff. Hey, guess what? Timothy M. Holt is joining us on our Friday night Gamma World adventures, and that's a lot of fun. Tim is a really cool guy, and he's got a YouTube channel here. You can check out at Timothy M. Holt, where he talks about all sorts of cool stuff. Just if you're a believer in UFOlogy types of things, he might get your blood up. But anyhow, you know what will get your blood up? With a mop and bucket, an owl bear. Peace. Good night. Love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.